All right, so here we are in the second match of the series that you're watching, but in the I actually just faced the black-red aggro deck again and beat it this time. So we are 1-1 in that matchup. We have a hand that's going to be really good against certain decks, not good against others. If we're against like green-black Delirium or some sort of slowish deck, these Fevered Visions are going to be great. We're against some sort of aggressive humans deck, though, which it kind of looks like. Oh, man. Well, this could be bad. Lightning Axe is great. And do I want to use it now? Not really. Might be a mistake. So I could play the Spirebluff Canal, and that would at least give me the option to cast Lightning Axe this turn. But with the way my curve is going to work out, I definitely want all of my mana to be untapped on turn 3 and 4. So I'm basically going to play this Wandering Fumarole either on turn 1 or turn 2. But if I can draw a whatchamacallit, Fiery Temper, then it'll be like insane. And there's not really like anything that's really going to punish me for doing it this way. It's kind of just like freebie. Now I'm actually really happy I did that because I get to play another one of these. He could have the yeah, I guess I'll just do this now. Really don't want this other Fevered Vision, especially in this situation. So what I'd really like to see is a Kozilek's Return. That would be a delight. There's a good chance that I'm actually just going to play the Fevered Visions on turn 3 anyway. I get to draw the card first. I don't have anything else better to do. And I have the potential to just wipe my opponent's board. So, oh, that's going to be a beating. Yeah, I need a Kozilek's Return ASAP. Not quite what the doctor ordered. Got 4 of them. Hopefully I can draw one. Just Howling Mine for both of us. You get to draw first. Come on, Kozilek's Return. No! I need the return. This could set me up for a situation where on my next turn, turn 4, I cast Cathartic Reunion and put a Kozilek's Return into the graveyard and this Stitchwing Skaab, and then on turn 5 I can get the Skaab back and Deep-Fiend. That'd be nice. Kind of need it like right now though. I'm getting hit like a truck. Oh, that is not what the doctor ordered. So let's see here. Is there anything I can Cathartic Reunion into? All the creatures that I get back, I'm going to play tapped, so that's not going to be helpful. I don't have enough mana. Yeah, I think the only way I live is if I draw Kozilek's Return right now off this Fevered Vision. And this game You know, whether I played Fever Visions or not, it's likely to come down to if I draw a Kozilek's Return. And I didn't, so I'm just super, super dead. Basically, I'm going to sideboard the same way I did against the black-red aggro deck. My opponent has more big creatures, which means my Weaver of Lightnings aren't going to be as powerful. But I still want them. My opponent does have X1s, and you know, Weaver of Lightning in conjunction with a Kozilek's Return or Fire Temper can, you know, kill something that bigger than what those cards individually could do. So yeah, we will run it like this. I do get to play first, which is really good. And I will definitely keep this hand. Need a third land, but we got Kozilek's Return, which is like just the most important thing. Kozilek's Return can also be a huge beating in these kind of matchups because you can use it in response to the Thalia's Lieutenant trigger. So you get the Thalia's Lieutenant and all the creatures that the opponent's trying to pump up. Oh, now I'm a little scared. Really need a land. Really don't want it to come into play tapped. That means that there's only 17 lands that we can draw here. It's also Cathartic Reunions, I guess. Hamlet Captain is a total stud. It's like, wow. What a guy. So one card that my opponent could have is the thing that like prevents all damage that would be dealt by non-human sources. Like prevent all damage that would be dealt to humans. Something like that. But there's a good chance he just tries to play a Thalia's Lieutenant here. So I don't know, it's kind of a weird situation because well, what in the world? Why would you play that pre-combat? Oh my god. Why is he doing this? This is unreal. Well, that's game, folks. GG! We did it! Casual 4 for 1, no big deal. Thank you for playing your creatures pre-combat. You're a true gentleman and a scholar. If you want to rage quit now, be a good time. Oh man, now we get to get our Weaver of Lightning online. Don't have a land drop, but I mean, who cares? We're just 4 for 1 to our opponent. Apparently our opponent's hand is all gas though, because he missed the land drop. Wow, what's going on? We don't have to worry about haste creatures in this situation. So we're fine to just attack with the Weaver. You know, imagine our opponent just has immolating glare. That'd be completely unreal. Opponent did nothing last turn, so you can't do anything this turn. I wonder if he has something like Gideon. That'd be kind of annoying. So we could actually play the Wretched Gryff here off the Weaver of Lightning to hit our land drop, which I actually like the sound of. Although we could also do that next turn. If one who just plays a Gideon, I'd really rather have the Wretched Gryff on the board. I think hitting the land drop is actually just like too important. So not going to trigger the Kozilek's turn or the Sanctum of Ugin. Another Kozilek's turn, perfect. Could obviously save the Wretched Gryff for like a much higher value proposition, but actually if he plays Gideon, we can just kill it. Be nice. Wow. Well, I mean, it's kind of like whatever. We already 4-for-1 to our opponent. We just need to hit some land drops and we're going to be fine. Can't cast anything. Whatever. In this situation, it's kind of funny because casting Nahiri's Wrath to just discard the Advanced Stitchwing and Prized Amalgam would be like kind of good. Oh, wow. Well, that probably needs to die. Probably can't let that sit around. Well, this is too juicy. Man, Kozilek's return is just so messed up against a lot of these decks. Oh, that's actually great. Here we go. Just what I wanted to see. That was great. Now we're rocking and rolling. If that was untapped mana, we could have got the Stitchwing back and the Prized Amalgam with it. That would have been really nice, but it'll still be alright. So I guess we can do this. And then just sort of see what the opponent does. Opponent's like kind of out of gas. And we're at the point where we can start doing all the fancy stuff. Seems like a good time to wipe the board with a Deep-Fiend. Tap all of our opponent's mana down during his upkeep. I love Elder Deep-Fiend, I'm not gonna lie. I just think Elder Deep-Fiend is so cool. Wow, and he didn't even tap his stuff. Kind of bizarre. A lot of stuff. Don't think I want to trigger either of the sanctums. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'll trigger one sanctum. and not the other. And again, my opponent did not flood any mana, so I don't have to worry about Stasis Snare. And what could my opponent ever do from here? Seriously. Probably going to get a Stitchwing back, discarding a Fiery Temper, and a Bombardment. And I guess at this stage, get rid of the Kozilek's Return. Although I could also... Oops. I had an extra mana? Oh well. Oh wait, hold on. If that's the case... If I have an extra mana, I can do this. And whack my opponent for 11? Oh man, if I didn't sacrifice the Sanctum, I actually could kill my opponent here. I actually didn't even realize that. Wow. That's pretty ridiculous. I guess if I draw an untapped land, I can still do it. And we did, so... Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you win at Magic. You play bad, and then you get rewarded. Wow, what a turnaround on this game. I mean, really, this was just like a smashing through and through. But just the turnaround was impressive. And we're just going to run it back. Alright, so... We have just kind of a good hand, I guess. I think this is a good hand. Oh, it's a little weird. We get to just like cast our guys. Like, kind of good, I guess. I guess with this deck, I would rather draw some removal spells before I draw my threats, but I guess it kind of doesn't matter because I can just put the threats in the graveyard. Stasis Snare is a little annoying of a removal spell. But... And really, I just want to find Kozilek's Return. My opponent has Thou's Lieutenant here. There's going to be nothing I can do about it. A little annoying. I don't think that I want to discard my Kozilek's Return. Because I think on the upcoming turn, I'm just going to want to cast it. Even if my opponent has Thou's Lieutenant, I want to cast the Kozilek's Return to get rid of the Expedition Envoy and the Lieutenant, so... So do we have a Lieutenant? What I really want to see is just something else, like a Hamlet. Okay. This is most certainly what my opponent needs this turn. But my Kozilek's Return is still going to be a 2-for-1. And then, yeah, I mean, turn 3 Kozilek's Return, turn 4 Stitchwing Skaab, and then potentially turn 5 Elder Deep-Fiend, flashing back Kozilek's Return. I mean, he's looking pretty bad for my opponent. And I have another Kozilek's Return. Ah! Pretty unreal. So I don't think my opponent's going to fall for the tricks again. And I am worried about him having the card that makes it so that his humans don't take any damage, or maybe he has you know, like the other, whatever the 3-mana card is that gives all of his guys indestructible. So I think it's just safer to fire it off main phase. Oh, hello. Kind of a lot of power and toughness. So let's see. If I get my Stitchwing Skaab killed, that would be pretty bad for me. So if my opponent has Stasis Snare and is able to like really get me. Honestly, if my opponent has Stasis Snare, there's a good chance he doesn't even use it on this Stitchwing Skaab. So yeah. My opponent kind of needs to Stasis Snare this, but there's a good chance he doesn't even have Stasis Snare in his hand. And there's a good chance that if he has it, he decides not to use it. So, see how this goes. Skyward Shot, okay. That will play. Alright, so now I need an untapped land if I want to Deep-Fiend my opponent. Which is kind of annoying. But I'm not going to die because I can Skaab and Lightning Axe. But it just means I have like no cards left. So yeah, I can play this and still have enough to Lightning Axe and Skaab. And I think I just want to do it right now, otherwise I could just be dead. Probably doesn't really matter, but I'm really hoping it doesn't have another removal spell for a Skaab. Be unfortunate. Guess I'll get the bigger one back. So I'm going to go to 2. Pretty bad for me. And things have kind of played out in a way where I or I'm just out of cards, which is pretty pretty annoying. If I had one more land, I could play this and still sack the other. I do get to sacrifice my Sanctum of Ugin for another Deep-Fiend, which is cool, but, you know. If my opponent cracks the clue, I'm just going to do the thing in response. I could do this in a way so that I lock down his main phase mana, which would be obviously quite good. But because I'm at such a low life total, I just want to play around the spell that makes it so that all of his humans don't take any damage. And here I can more or less, sit on the Deep-Fiend that I got. I mean, I can play one Skaab and not attack with anything, and then reevaluate. But as soon as I get to the point where I can keep my blue mana open, it's gonna be pretty good for me. A Gideon is certainly something that could be a way my opponent crawls back into the game, and also there's a good chance that there is one of those in his hand. It would certainly make sense if he had one of those stuck in his hand. So playing the Skaab is like perfect because this will mean I can, if he plays Gideon, I can just instantly kill it and have 2 Deep-Fiends on the board. And I really don't want to use a, my Kozilek's return trigger on these inspectors. Like pretty weak. It's probably a good situation for me to attack with both and then Deep-Fiend. Oh, if my opponent had Declaration Stone, though, it'd be kind of a blowout. I guess it really wouldn't be the end of the world, though, right? Yeah, I think I'll just attack with both. My opponent could have just attacked or blocked with one Thraben Inspector on the Elder Deep-Fiend. Should have been a pretty good play, but then I would just do this during my opponent's upkeep. I feel like if my opponent had Gideon, he would have played it. I mean, he knew I had the second Elder Deep-Fiend, but I think it still should have been the move he made. And if he plays Gideon now, I can just kill him because I can attack with both Deep-Fiends and Wandering Fumaroles, so not really worried about it. If my opponent has Gideon plus something else, then that would be pretty bad for me, but it would, he'd have to have drawn a 1-mana creature this turn. So it looks like he's got a fair amount of them, but not that many. So no, wait, we won. So sick. Next match.